the show. Okay, do you agree or disagree? Stages of a housing bust. First one, affordability. Check. Number 2, collapsing home sales. Check. Number 3, job openings collapse. Check. Number 4, mass layoffs. Kinda check, don't you know? Number 5, unemployment. And finally, number 6, home prices finally they collapse. Are we on this road right now? Is this going to happen? If so, are we going to fall further than we did back in 2008? Now, personally, I don't know. I'm going to look at the history of eggs to determine my thoughts on the pending housing collapse.
Believe it or not, this isn't housing, this is eggs. As you can see, back in May, eggs were down about $2 per dozen. Then by September, eggs over doubled in cost, up to over $4 per dozen. Then the chicken, not human pandemic hit, with the same result. Eggs went through the roof by March and topped $8 per dozen, quadrupling in price. The great race to get eggs was on, and everyone had to have eggs, but the cost became prohibitive. Now look at the value of eggs by today's standards. They have fallen off a cliff. Eggs have gone down to $6 per dozen, a loss in value of over 20% with no end in sight.
Now, isn't this how every graph looks, every commodity works? It could be eggs, it could be housing, or toilet paper. Remember that one? So that's how I see housing going. 20% off the top, and who knows where it's going to bottom out. And frankly, at this point, I don't see an alternative. Think about this for a second. The fourth phase of a housing crash is mass layoffs and unemployment. Here is a graph of construction job openings. We are 41% off our high and as low as we have been since back in 2002 before the last big meltdown. It seems like we're on the cusp of a correction. But again, my question is, what do you think?
Rocket's CEO, Varun Krishna, says he believes the Redfin deal can expand opportunities for the broker network. He says, quote, "We think about it more like an opportunity. So when you look at Rocket's strength in mortgage with Redfin's leadership and home search and brokerage, what we're doing is simply allowing our broker network to get access to a bigger ecosystem. This is really an opportunity to expand the reach of our ecosystem and to create more demand and more business for every person that plays in our ecosystem, whether they work at Rocket or whether they're one of our most valued broker partners."
So if I'm hearing Varun correctly, if you work with Rocket and send them deals, they're going to send you leads in return. Is this a slippery slope? Rocket is going to pick who wins and who doesn't. Further, and just a question here, is this giving something of value in return for a referral of business? Again, just a question. Now, if it is, it pales in comparison to what builders are doing with lenders, and we know that enforcement right now is asleep at the wheel. Right now. But again, is it a violation? Look at what happened just recently. Enforcement agencies were looking into brokers who were sending most of their business to UWM, and I believe it was Rocket too. What if you put reciprocity behind that? One could deduce that a brokerage is sending all of their business or most of their business to Rocket so they can get those Redfin leads. Again, these are just questions. So tell me what you think in the comments down below.
Finally, the total worth of the U.S. real estate market is $49.7 trillion. If we see a 20% correction, we could lose nearly $10 trillion in wealth.
But remember, it's not a loss, it's a correction. We will not lose what we didn't have. And to put this in perspective, the U.S. housing market was worth only $10 trillion back in January of 2000. We've not gained nearly $40 trillion in wealth over that time. These are just numbers, and that $49 trillion that we're looking at right now is a problem. It's not a solution. And when it goes down, don't mourn, but celebrate the loss. And I say this because half of the country will turn a housing correction into a political issue with massive losses of trillions of dollars when it's not. It's a social issue. And that social issue when it comes to housing is choking the life out of our economy. Let me know what you think, and I hope this helps. Listen, guys, the mortgage marketing animals, Carl and Steve, they're kicking off their latest round of limited access bootcamp. They're going to focus on everything from accountability to outreach programs, leveraging technology and strengthening discipline. Listen, if you want to check it out, it's going to be great. Fill out the information down below or somewhere around here.